The all-time knockout king is back, and he is headed to Nashville to headline his first card in a very long time. But is he being used by the UFC to build the next generation of fighter? Derrick Lewis has more knockouts in the history of the UFC than any other fighter, and here he is as a 2-1 dog against a guy that only has one win in the UFC. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Nashville. But before we talk about these bets, let's look at last week's bets. We had a lot of people in the community do really well at UFC 317. This is a $50 parlay that won $1,200 from Liddell. He tweeted us. He said another boxing and UFC winning night, and he listed out this entire lineup. He used the tools, he used the insight, and he used the Discord. We do have a free Discord. Inside that Discord, if you're a premium member, you have access to special channels, and if you're not a premium member, you have access to the general channels. There's a lot of sharp people in there if you want to check out that Discord. We also had Stretch reach out to us and say, hey, I took a $5 parlay. I turned it into $1,000, and I did so using your tools on the website. He said the premium tools did it again, allowed me to build this 14-leg parlay. $5 won $1,000. You can check out everything we have on the website and maybe build your own winning parlay like Stretch did. The website is wewantpicks.com. You can check out every single tool, like the fight simulator that simulates fights 100,000 times, like the line movement tracker that will give you the opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter on every card, like the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And not only will you have access to all of those tools and a million other things, you will also have access to all of that for an entire month, one full month. If you sign up today, you'll have access for UFC Nashville, UFC 318, UFC Abu Dhabi, and then the fight night after that. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. It's $10. Stretch just made 10 years worth of profit. You saw Liddell make 12 years worth of profit. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10 for access to everything. No upsell, no cross-sell, no weird promos. $10, everything instantly. WeWantPicks.com. Let's go ahead and talk about this card. The odds suck. The odds suck. And that's sort of the era we live in now with the UFC. You get a couple of favorites that you're confident in, you like a couple of lines, and then they are immediately gone. They're gone because the general public is building wild parlays. So a lot of these medium favorites get parlayed 20 times over, which drags the line out. The general public is weary of some of the sketchier fighters, so they pile on who they think is going to win. And we've got some bad odds on this card. We got Fatima Kline at minus 1,300. Eduardo Mora, minus 1,600. Vitor Petrino, minus 700. All three of them, I do think, win. I'm very confident in both of them. To have two women in your most confident favorites is a little absurd, but that's sort of where we're at on this card. Fatima Kline should be the much better striker and a much better grappler. Eduardo Mora is just going to be better everywhere and younger. Vitor Petrino, he is going up in weight. And there are some concerns about Vitor, given he was just knocked out. He was submitted before that. But the reality is he's fighting a guy that gets knocked out by a hard sneeze. So if Austin Lane gets landed on with one of those Vitor Petrino left hooks, Austin Lane is going to go down. I'm pretty confident in Vitor here. He has let people down the last couple of fights, so just be weary of that. And then Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim is fighting a 42-year-old man. And yes, it's Wonder Boy, and he's got that tricky striking style, and Wonder Boy can be a problem for a lot of people because of that in and out and that karate movement. But Gabriel Bonfim, ever since losing to Nicholas Dalby, has dialed it in. He's grappling a little bit more. As we know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has some grappling holes, and I'm expecting Bonfim to come out there, strike for a little bit, hate the range, hate the distance, hate that karate style, and then immediately start wrestling, where he'll have a massive advantage. If we're looking at underdogs, I do think there's a good amount of solid underdogs on this card. Jake Matthews is one of them. I'm outright picking him to win. He is fighting a 6'3", lightning fast, powerful striker in Chidi Nzechukwu, but Chidi's got legs about as thick as my pinky. And if Jake Matthews decides to wrestle, which I know is intermittently, but if he decides to wrestle and he gets to those legs, he could definitely have some success. Jake Matthews is also insanely durable. So he may weather an early storm. He may take some damage early and then slowly take over. Jake has his own striking. Jake has grappling. Jake is very durable. I think he's a great dog here. Valter Walker, I think, is also a phenomenal underdog. And I don't understand the line because it's actually widening. Valter Walker seems to be the public dog. Almost every single person in our comment section is talking about Valter Walker is going to win. The only person I have heard say Valter Walker is not going to win is actually Jacob. The reality is, I think Valter Walker can get Kennedy Nzechukwu to the ground. And once he gets it to the ground, there should be a massive advantage. Valter Walker is still trying to shuck that reputation of being a fat slob from his UFC debut where he let the world down. But then he transformed his body, showed up, beat two dudes back-to-back very easily with heel hooks. And while I understand we haven't seen him go a little long, so I can't definitively say his cardio doesn't suck, what I can say, though, is he is putting in the time, he's putting in the effort, he's making changes. Kennedy Nzechukwu, opponent's a very good striker, huge as well, so moving up to heavyweight didn't really affect much because he was already massive. And he's been looking pretty good recently as well. The problem is neither one of them have a good win. They're both beating kind of bums, but they're doing it handedly. We have a striker versus a grappler. I'm going to lean the grappler here with Valter Walker. Then we have Tukos. Listen, I'm listing him as a solid underdog. I'm not betting him. It's sort of a similar story to the Valter Walker fight, but reversed. Valter Walker is a grappler that transformed his fat-ass body. Tukos is a grappler who is fighting a striker who transformed his fat-ass body. Tuco is a light heavyweight. His opponent is a heavyweight that lost some weight and is coming down to light heavyweight. He's fighting Junior Taffa, a kickboxer. Now, if Junior Taffa fights as well as he looks, because he looks good, he lost the weight, he did it right, he looks fantastic. If he fights as well as he looks, he's going to beat Tukos here. But if he shows up and he's the same dog shit MMA fighter that we saw in his last fight, but skinnier, then Tuco's going to get it to the ground and win because Junior Taffa has some big holes on the ground. Then we have Calvin Kattar. It should be the co-main event. It is the featured fight. The reality is Calvin Kattar is a very good striker. He's got good, clean, crisp boxing. His hands are always where they're supposed to be. He's a durable kid. He works in and out of the pocket really well. He is fighting Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia is on a 5-fight knockout streak. That's an incredible run. He is doing amazing things. But Steve Garcia is definitely fighting the most skilled, the highest level opponent he has fought so far in his career. And I think this is a close one. And if Calvin Kattar avoids some of the bad takedown attempts and then stays clean in the striking, he could 100% win this fight, which makes him a pretty solid underdog. Here's a look at my bets. I don't have a lot on the board. I've only got 3.5 units out. I have a real long tail parlay that you people love. But look how many fighters. I have 4 legs to get to plus money. We have Eduardo Mora should win. Mike Davis should win. Morgan Charrier should win. Vitor Petrino should win. That's my parlay. I had to put 4 of them together to get to plus money. I think every single one of these fighters is better than their opponent, and I think every single one of them wins. I did only do a half a unit on this because I'm a little worried about Vitor, and Morgan Charrier is French. We got Jake Matthews for all the reasons I already mentioned. The reality is he's a good striker, he can grapple, and he's very durable. So I think he can win this fight using any one of those 3 things. Being durable early, then turning on the grappling. Being a heavy grappler early, turning on the striking later. I think Jake Matthews can win this a multiple? I think he can win this many different ways. Listen, I'm on vacation, okay? This isn't my normal backdrop. You can tell. This is a cool hat from the ranch that I'm staying at, so deal with some flubs in my speaking cadence. We got Steve Garcia inside the distance, decision, no action. All that really means is if Steve Garcia finishes Calvin, which he has finished his last 5 opponents, if he finishes Calvin, I get paid out at plus 110. If he loses a decision, if he wins a decision, I get a full refund. Calvin Kattar is not a dangerous guy. So even if Calvin wins this fight, Steve will survive. So this is basically my way to bet on Steve at plus money in his likely outcome if he were to win, and removing the risk because I get a refund if he hits the scorecards. Valter Walker, for the reasons I mentioned. I think he gets this fight to the ground, and if he does, he wins. Then I took Morgan Charrier, the French, and I parlayed him again. Shouldn't have done it, but I did. We got Morgan Charrier, and then I parlayed it with the over 1.5 in the Qatar Garcia fight. I do think that fight goes a little bit longer. Even if Steve Garcia is able to finish Calvin, I don't think it's going to be in the first round. I think it goes a little bit long, and I think it's an accumulation of damage. Or we have early success from Calvin, who's dotting up, who's touching, who's connecting on Steve, and then Steve goes to the grappling where he gets busy and works from there. So the over 1.5, the reality is I likely get a refund on that win inside the distance decision, no action, and then I get paid out on this Morgan plus over 1.5 parlay. That's plus 120. And then, of course, we have the safety parlay. Safety parlay slapped last week. I've hit, 9 of 11? What'd I do? I hit 6 in a row. I missed 2. I hit 7, 8, 9. We had a wild streak. We missed a couple for some insane circumstances, and now we're back on track. If you want to unlock that safety parlay, not just for UFC Nashville, but UFC 318, UFC Abu Dhabi, and then the Tatsuro type fight night after that, we want picks.com. Just click become a member. Here's a teaser for the other bets on the board. It's not just me out here. Bet Sam's doing God's work. Bet Sam might be the actual best person betting in this space. Is he the most popular? No. Does he have the name notoriety? No. Is he wildly consistent, up money more often than he's not? Absolutely yes. We have almost 30 units of bets on the board right now. That does include future bets. We have more than 10 units of bets on future events. You're watching this for UFC Nashville, but if you go to the website and you check out the bets, we have bets for UFC 318, 319. We have bets built out for the future. Here's a couple of teasers. We have the Slam of the Week. I have my safety parlay. Bet Sam has the Slam of the Week. He does it a little bit differently. Sometimes it's a parlay, sometimes it's a single bet, and he loads up on units. He's got 2 units on a minus 125 slam this week. Jacob has his lock of the week, of course, so you're going to have to check out that video to find out who that is. We do have a couple of cool prop bets on the board. Fatima Kline, first round submission, plus 650. This woman is a minus 1,300 favorite, and she could cash at plus 650 if she wins in a pretty likely scenario here, which is an early submission. We have Chris Curtis minus 3.5 and Gabriel Bonfim minus 3.5. We've talked about plus 3.5 bets before, right? A plus 3.5 is when you get the underdog and they just have to win 1 round on all 3 scorecards. The minus 3.5 is the exact opposite. The minus 3.5 is you need these fighters to win 2 of 3 rounds, clearly. A 30-27 across the board gets it done. A 30-27, a 30-27, a 29-28. Gets it done. So what this does is you take a pretty considerable favorite, but you know they're going to win either by finish or a very convincing decision, right? We're not going to get a 29-28 across the board, and you get much better odds. That brings Chris Curtis to plus money. That brings Gabriel Bonfim to minus 150 from the minus 600 that he is right now. And then we have a PFL parlay on the board. PFL is this week. Also, there is a parlay on the board if you care about PFL at all. You can unlock the rest of these bets. Every other freaking bet we have on the board right now, it's only $10. It's $10 for everything for an entire month. That's $2.50 a card. You're going to get this card. You're going to get 318. You're going to get Abu Dhabi. You're going to get the fight night. After that, these are those events. And that's why I like to stress it's $10 a month, not a week, not per event. And it's not just bets. You get that whole slew of tools as well. If you are looking for better odds, if you are looking to solve an argument with some dumb dick in the comments section that's giving you a hard time, if you're in my Discord and you're fighting back and forth with a stranger, calling each other poor or doing whatever the hell you do in that Discord, settle the argument with Bet Openly. It's very simple. Somebody says you're a casual. The other person says you're an idiot. You go back and forth. You put the bet on Bet Openly and you send them a link. You'd say it's $20. You throw $20 on a bet. They grab the other side. They put $20 on the bet. And now the winner gets all $40. It's literally that simple. You don't have to worry about them scamming you, bailing on it, being a coward. And if they don't accept it, if they don't click the link, then they're just hot air running their mouth dumbasses. And we don't deal with those people. So, while Bet Openly has the best possible odds on planet Earth, just go back to the first slide to see that. What they also have is the ability to solve arguments, and that's what I love it for. Check Bet Openly out now. Just WeWantPicks.com/BetOpenly or BetOpenly.com. But if you want a traditional sports book, we have affiliate links for traditional sports books. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use any one of those links. Sign up with any one of the sports books. Make a deposit. We will get paid a one-time commission because it's an affiliate link, and then we will send you $50 as a thank you. See that little circle there where we all take care of each other? WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50 as a thank you.